Good afternoon, Fargo. Fargo City Commissioner Tony Gehrig with your How I Voted update for the 9 and 23 September Fargo City Commission meeting. I am filming for both Facebook Live and for our website, our city website here, so I'll be looking back and forth a little bit. We had a few things on the agenda today, mostly revolving around incentives. But to start off with, the Special Assessment Task Force had wrapped up in September. Before September, actually, and we looked at the findings of what was proposed by that task force. And to no real surprise to myself, or I don't think many other people, basically no changes were provided. We will still be special assessing for almost everything that we've been doing currently. The amount that we're special assessing is going to go up. The percentage point, you hear a lot about this percentage point. We charge 1% on top of the interest rate that we give you. So if we get the loan for, say, 3% for the city, and then we give you the special assessment, we give you a 4% tax rate, which is 1 point above what we are paying. That way, we say we have a buffer. So as you're paying your bill back over your 25-year assessment, or whatever that number is, there's more coming back to the city than what is actually owed. Therefore, as we say, if someone defaults, we have money to cover that amount. The big problem is with that is that no one in the history of Fargo has ever defaulted. Okay, I asked our finance director, who's been here 35 years, in his time, has he ever seen anyone not pay their special assessment? The answer is no. No one has ever not paid their special assessment. And when I'm saying they, it's the developers. So there's no, or people. There's no need for this 1% above. So what the city graciously did was we raised that amount from 1% to 0.75%. You're saving 0.25% on your loan, and that's supposed to be the big fix for special assessments. It's not a big fix, folks. It's not fixing anything. We can still special assess you tomorrow for $20,000 and special assess some people right out of their homes, and you couldn't do anything about it. So huge disappointment from this task force. It took months. It took years. It took a year and a half, I think, to get this nothing to happen, and that's where we end up. The battle over special assessments is not over. The PRADOG funds are coming. We get $13.5 million next year from the state, and we should use that money 100% to offset the cost of specials. We are purportedly doing that. However, we're just raising how much we special assess. So the relief is not there. We need a heck of a lot more work on this subject, and I am committed to getting rid of special assessments in the city of Fargo, and it's very, very doable. And you can see that from what I've written and what I've spoken about on other videos and in public for that. So Special Assessment Task Force wrapped up. The findings went forward. We have a new document. Nothing changed. So September 23rd, 2019, for this meeting, the biggest thing for this meeting was the budget passed. This was a 4-1 vote. I voted against the budget. We told the people of Fargo that we only had about a 1.5% to 2% increase in the budget this year, which is complete nonsense. We went from about $101 million for the general fund budget to $107.5 million, which is much, much more than 2%. You're talking more like a 5% increase or more, 5 or 6% for that. So how do we fudge the numbers? How can we lie about that? Well, what we do is we take money out of the general fund and we just put it into a new fund, and we just call it something different. And in this case, we call it the Capital 475 budget, whatever that means. But that $4.5 million that was in the general fund before is now out of the general fund. So we can say, oh look, we lowered the general fund, but we didn't not spend that money. We just moved it here so that you can't see it anymore. So it's a shell game. We're spending the same amount of money. We're just taking money out of the general fund, putting it somewhere else, and saying, look, we reduced the general fund. Aren't we great? No, we're not great. So we're far from great. And moving this money around is very sneaky. It's dishonest, and it should have been written in every news article for that entire time period, and it hardly made the news. In fact, most people don't even know that it happened. I've tried my best to tell people about it. I voted no against it. I made the claim. I made this at the city commission meeting. It didn't even make the papers that this is what we were doing. So very disappointed in this process. I have only voted for one budget since I've been a city commissioner. That was my first budget, and probably because I just didn't know enough yet. But now I know the game. I know what they're doing. They're moving money around and saying that we reduced taxes when we obviously did not, which is a shame. So it was a 4-1 vote for the budget, and I have a lot of documentation to show what we were doing. As far as incentives go, yes, we gave away a lot of incentives for apartment complexes. One of the incentives we gave away was for a telecom company again, a great company, a smaller company, has great paying jobs, and they ask for incentive to start their company up, which is fine, that they're allowed to do that. And I don't blame them for asking for the money. I blame us for giving it to them because, again, at the meeting I asked the person who was there representing that company, would you grow in the city of Fargo? Would you come here without the incentive? What do you think the answer was? It was yes, I would. I'm asking for the incentive because you're offering it. But I would still come here without it. In fact, if you guys say no today, I'm still coming. And what do we do in a 4-to-1 vote? We give them the money again. And this has happened again and again and again. In previous videos, you see Endeavor did the same thing, Apartheid did the same thing, FedEx did the same thing. There's a list out there, a long list of people who said, I would take the incentive if you give it to me. If you don't give it to me, I'll still grow here in the city of Fargo. And we still give it to them. And it blows my mind every dang time that we keep doing this. But we keep doing it, and no one's really watching, so why not? So that happened at that meeting. The final thing was there's a B&B, a bed and breakfast on 8th Street, the Roberts Edition in South Fargo. A great area, Fargo, very old, a lot of big, beautiful homes. And they wanted to transition their $1 million plus home into a bed and breakfast for that region to try to make some money back out of the home that they put a lot of money into. And a couple of the neighbors didn't like that, so they protested, which again is just fine. You're allowed to do that. And after a lot of back and forth with the community, what their fear was is that they would have large events there. There wasn't enough parking for large events. They didn't want to have parties there, things like that. But that was not the intent of the people who own this home. They've owned this home for a very long time. They put a lot of heart and soul into this building. And I don't think for a second that their intent is to have blowout parties there. So ultimately this did pass. It took 2 or 3 meetings for it to pass. But you'll be able to go down on 8th Street now and go to a bed and breakfast in that area of Fargo near downtown, and it should be a great addition to that neighborhood, I think. So that's a good thing. If you have any questions about the 9 or 23rd September 2019 meeting, please let me know. Email, Facebook, text, or call. But please keep watching how we're spending your tax dollars. Thank you.